No, we just need to perk up a little, that's all.
That's my nipple.
That could help. Hello and welcome to
Love Life Hacks. I am your host, Tracey Love.
And I am Chris Silver, also your host.
Also my husband.
Also my wife.
That's weird. That whole situation is weird, but we're going to keep it. Because, sometimes weird is okay. We're here for the weird.
Thank you. I feel seen. It's a good start. This podcast is called Love Life Hacks. So this is about love life. What's new with the love life? What's new with your love life? What's really going on? We're talking about everything around love life. So from, are you looking for a partner right now? Mm-hmm. Are you in a relationship, dating, seeing somebody, committed, engaged, married, wherever you are in your love life journey, we're talking about these things. We're the love life news and sometimes also the love life advice.
Sure.
Because we're massively qualified. We've been married a year now, almost.
Almost. On 2/22/23, we will celebrate our 1-year anniversary because we were married on 2/22/22. So that makes us absolutely qualified to pass out advice.
Yeah, and I mean, who here has some bad experiences in their past with love? Come on. Everybody. So the thing is, had you known us before, had you asked us, you might have been able to avoid that.
Oh, shucks.
Because we're the Love Life Hacks, and we can help you out.
Let's talk about you people.
Excuse me?
So dramatic.
She's talking about the film.
We just watched the film You People, starring
Jonah Hill
and Lauren London.
Mm-hmm. And now, of course, Eddie Murphy. Come on.
And Eddie Murphy. And Neil Long and Julia Louis-Dreyfus and David Duchovny and everyone else. Honorable mention goes to, been pimpin' since Pimp Pimpin' since Pimp Pimpin'. You asked me his name while we were watching. Good damn.
Oh, damn. Yeah. See, it's one of those names that you know when you see him. Let's not go there.
And
it's okay.
I knew it.
We're not going there.
His name. Yes, we
cutting
will.
This out.
No, I'm a bad brown person right now.
I apologize to all our listeners.
Right. Yes, I do.
No, we need to record this show, honey.
I know, but I answered it while we were watching, and now it's gone. Okay, gone. I need to leave. We need to start talking about something else.
Yes. No. Anyway, why are we talking about?
Day. Oh, Day. What's your name? All right, go ahead.
Well, in this podcast, we're going to always have a small segment at the beginning where we talk about what's been going on in the world of love. Now, that's not just people that are dating, news on maybe celebrities or something that are dating or breaking up or getting married or whatever. It's also, is there a cool movie out that's great for couples? Did something else happen? Did some legislation pass that has something to do with marriage and love or whatever it ends up being? God. Whatever is going on, we want to talk about, the news from a love perspective every week. Or every other week, depending on how many of these we do. We'll find out.
Absolutely.
But yeah, You People kind of stood out as a film in the last couple of days. Great date movie, interesting movie about love and troubles on the way to love, for sure.
Troubles in interracial dating.
Hello.
Also, I like the fact that it wasn't just a regular brown person and a regular white person. I like the fact that they were Muslim and Jewish coming together. That was interesting. I don't think we've seen that in an interracial dating film before. Yeah, no. And that, of course, also quickly brings us to some of the things in the movie that we had real fun with and some of them that we were kind of like, about. Right. Because on the one hand, especially in the first third, I was laughing a lot about the, if exaggerated, but still kind of funny, exaggerated in a funny way, way that Jewish life was shown. And also the way that her Muslim side was shown. You were laughing at that? I thought it was done, You People was fun and also interesting, and then at some point annoying, because it obviously does play with stereotypes, which is what you do when you do a comedy about culture clash, right? You play with stereotypes. And in the beginning, I enjoyed the stereotypes.
including many of them that kind of rang true about Jewish life, because I know a lot about that.
Right.
How did you feel about the stereotypes about being Black in America?
Dated outside of my race before, and the stereotype of your friends and your family being so curious about what you're going to talk about, or how you're going to relate, or how you're going to break it to your family members. That was real. That was pretty accurate.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree. I've also dated out of my race before and have known similar conversations and troubles.
I wondered, side note, I wondered if there were longer scenes with her girlfriends, because I would have loved to have heard how they really felt about her marrying Jonah Hill's character.
Interesting. Yeah, I mean, it felt like she didn't have that much of a circle outside of her family, right? Because the movie focuses so much on the family. Well, she does have.
She had the girls.
She has a friend. She has
She
some
had the
friends.
girls.
Yeah, she does. That's true.
There was the bachelorette
But
party.
the movie makes it a lot, of course, about the families. That's where the whole strength of. That's where the story is anchored, I guess.
I thought it was very interesting that the Jewish characters were the goofy, insecure ones who never know how to behave in front of Black folks. About the film overall.
I mean, I make movies myself. I'm a writer and a producer, and so of course, in some ways, I have a hard time watching films without critiquing them from that place. I felt that the movie didn't quite know what it wanted to be.
Mm-hmm.
It felt like it wanted to be a very broad audience rom-com, which means a lot of stereotypes, a lot of broad strokes type of characterizations, meaning people don't feel very authentic. They're fun, but they're not really authentic as characters. However, then they also wanted to discuss some pretty deep, more cutting-edge topics. It doesn't quite work, I feel, deeper controversial issues that I would have liked to hear more about, but it doesn't work when the characters are so superficial. And so, so much of a caricature. So I feel the movie kind of lost itself after about a third to a half of the film. It became a bit of a farce.
All right.
And the other thing I didn't love, I loved Eddie Murphy in it. I thought a lot of the acting was actually really great. And there was quite a lot of fun dialogue writing and dialogue dynamic. I didn't care for just how the story unfolded eventually. And I was not a fan of the chemistry between the two.
Lauren and Noah. Jonah. It's like I knew it didn't feel right.
Some other Jewish name.
It didn't feel right. Yeah, the chemistry was lacking. I think overall, I feel like they were supposed to be younger characters, so they were supposed to have a hard time communicating.
Interesting.
I would have enjoyed seeing more mature conversations and interactions between the two of them.
Yeah, and you see, like in the beginning, the one thing that I think Lauren London is best at in this film is when she's opinionated and kind of, at the beginning, she's not so crazy about him, and she's giving him a lot of critique. Like she's not making it so easy for him at the beginning. I thought that was actually her strongest part and her strongest phase in the movie, or their strongest phase together.
Yeah.
As soon as she's sort of trying to or supposed to be on his side and loving him, I just somehow didn't buy it. Just the energy between them.
She does strong Black women very well.
I mean, I know that's a cliche.
She was giving him a hard time.
True.
Unfortunately, that's what a lot of us do.
But the thing is, every time, I mean, you see it in movies all the time. Some love relationships in movies work. This is a love podcast. It's a beautiful thing to talk about. Romantic comedies. Tell me about couples that screen couples that you feel have like your favorite dynamic, like where the chemistry is just right. You just buy that they're into each other.
Comes to mind is films like Love and Basketball and Love Jones.
I know you also like Pretty Woman.
I love Pretty Woman.
That's a dynamic you were buying too.
Love. Yeah. Big mistake. Huge.
So you see, there's something there that I just didn't feel between Lauren London and Jonah Hill. And sometimes that just happens. It doesn't have to do a lot with how the film is written or
Mhm.
told. It's just that these two actors might not have that particular
It's interesting
spark.
because as I was watching it, I was thinking, she's the only actress I envision representing a Southern California black girl.
Hmm.
I
Interesting.
really can't imagine any other actress in that role. Favorite part of the film
Yeah.
was
Tell me.
her engagement ring.
The engagement ring. Okay, so yeah. If you haven't seen the film, okay, he gives her a very small engagement ring, and his black friend tells him that that's not
Oh
gonna
yeah, she was
fly.
dope. She was great.
That's
What's
not
her
gonna
name?
fly.
McKay.
I love her. It's not gonna fly with a black woman, and she tells him, "You're gonna have to make up a story," and he makes up a story that it's his grandmother's Holocaust ring. Um, which is, I mean, you know, Jews are allowed to make jokes about the Holocaust, not make fun of.
Sure. Well, whatever.
My great grandfather died in the
Make fun
Holocaust,
of.
and
Yeah.
I've made jokes about the Holocaust with Mel Brooks, so
Qualified.
I'm qualified.
All I'm saying is it helps me sleep better at night
Mhm.
walking in the world with a similar ring.
Yeah, so I gave my wife a small engagement ring because
And he
grew
loves
up,
it.
I grew up
I
in
love it.
Europe, and I chose a stone that I knew was meaningful for the both of us, a citrine.
It's a citrine, my birthstone.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
And I really felt that like the smallness of the ring was extremely elegant and just fit your personality very well. Of course,
That's a smile.
hours later, hours after the engagement, your sister or like someone in your family is already making fun, saying they need
That's
a
why-
magnifying glass to find
Come on.
the stone.
My sister said, "Oh my God, this ring is so small. I need a magnifying glass." I go, "Oh, how big is your ring?"
Oops.
Oh, that's right. Sorry.
Ooh,
I know.
That was a sick burn.
I know, it's what we do. It's how we show love in our family, which we'll talk about that. We'll talk about jokes and relationships and how sometimes jokes within the family should stay within the family.
Mhm. What's funny in this house should stay in this house.
Who
How
knew?
about that? Whoops.
Who knew? I couldn't have the same sense of humor with my husband as I do with my family.
Well, and in a way that happens in the movie too, in You People. I mean, there's, they feel comfortable talking about things and joking about things with each other, and all of a sudden, especially parents,
Mm-hmm.
and all of a sudden realizing, whoops, wait a minute, that's in this setup, it's not okay.
Right.
It doesn't work.
So overall, how many thumbs would you give You People?
Out
Or
of
would
how
you?
many? Out of 4 or 5? Or
Out
what do we
of
do?
2 thumbs.
Oh, 2 thumbs. Oh, I thought we were doing like stars or things. I'm sorry. Okay, out of thumbs, I would give it 1 thumb up.
I would give it 2 thumbs up for effort and relevance and timing and.
Hey, it's entertaining.
Oh, I
And it's
watched
got
it.
Eddie Murphy. Hello.
It's a family
Yeah.
film. I watched it with my grandmother in the room. I
Who-
heard her laughing
I'm sure it was really turned on by the beginning,
by the beginning.
by
Ugh.
those things that were discussed in the very first moments. I
Yikes.
know she does not appreciate some of the words that were said there.
I don't think she liked the film at all.
No.
I did hear her laughing at some parts, mostly Eddie Murphy's.
But Grandma Josephine is a very proper lady.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
I think she wanted it to go deeper, but I won't speak for her.
Mm-hmm.
But she wanted the film to go deeper, as did I. But I think it was appropriate. I think it was timely, and I think it might inspire some more interracial relationships.
Okay.
Not saying that that was its goal.
I'm not sure if I should say anything about that, because is it desirable or not? I don't know. I'm happy in my relationship with her. I don't really look at interracial relationships as a general topic of like, do we want more in the world? Do we want less in the world?
Yeah.
I just feel for those that are in these relationships. My children came out of an interracial relationship, and I'm used to living in this reality. I feel it's important to let people know that it's okay and that they can be comfortable in their reality, because love is love.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree. I also believe that so many people live in fear of something new. That was another film about interracial
That's true.
dating.
Nice one.
I think so many people are fearful of it, and
Mhm.
they don't understand that there could be a Jonah Hill out there who is into sneaker culture, who is into hip hop, who can share some of the same likes and dislikes.
Mhm.
I think there are a lot of Jonah Hills who may be afraid of women like Lauren London, and
Mm.
who feel like a Lauren London will never give them the time of day, so they never shoot their shot.
Right. Or they think they have to know everything about the sneaker culture first, too, which would also be a weird stereotype, right? Because, I mean, I just feel when it comes to relationship, it's important to share some interests, but at the end of the day, it's so much more important to see each other in a way that others don't see you.
Mm-hmm.
Like see your partner in a way that's supportive, that's loving, that's uplifting in a way that others just don't.
Right.
And that is something that doesn't necessarily require liking all of the same music that your partner does.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Oh my God.
I mean, in this movie, they do. In this movie, they happen to sort of be into the same things, or Jonah is great at basketball and stuff.
This guy will talk about composers, and I'm like, and not even just composers, conducttors, not even composers. Those people are musicians, conductors of symphonies. And I'm like,
I'll be like, if
okay,
you ever listen to Mahler's
know.
Fifth, make sure you listen to this or that recording. Yeah, but I have a conductor in my family. That happens.
Anyway.
Mm-hmm. But but I've also listened to a lot of like from way back, dating myself here properly. From the old school days, I've listened to hip hop as well, and then a ton of other music, every music pretty much.
Yeah, but we're talking about what
I'm just eclectic in my taste.
We're talking about what I don't know about.
Sure. Yeah.
And how I can't share that knowledge with you.
Yeah, and you can't share quite the joy that I would feel in listening to the Goldberg variations. Yeah.
I'll have to Google that.
Mm-hmm. But that's cool.
And I'm sure I'll enjoy it.
Yeah, but that doesn't take anything from me being extremely in love with this woman and being in full admiration of you and having so much fun being with you. Because it does not. I don't need you to like everything I like. I think there's this thing out there, because I'm just saying that because we talked about the movie, and the movie has a lot of pop culture stuff going on, because it's clearly almost in a way that I feel is a little overly done. It's trying to really appeal to young audiences,
right?
Like,
hey, which Drake?
What's the word for that? Pandering.
Mm-hmm.
Like that.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, a little bit. But see, that's another thing where often I see on social media the stuff of like, if you don't get what this meme is talking about, then you're not for me. Or if you don't know every name from Star Wars, then you're not for me, or something.
Right.
I feel that's a misconception. It could very well be that someone could love you for your things that you're geeky about, but they don't necessarily have to geek out about all the same stuff that you do just to be a good partner for you.
Well, this is great. So let's talk about preferences.
Preferences. All right, let's do it.
Right. If I prefer that I can geek out with my partner about Star Wars, am I limiting myself?
Yeah. Well, the question is, how much do you really expect out of a relationship? Okay. So since this is our first episode and we're kind of grooving into this, when you and I got together, we knew each other as friends for several years, a good number of years.
Yeah.
But had never really come to a point of seriously considering dating one another.
No.
And then at some point when it clicked and when we were ready to date each other, we found out that we had both done what?
Oh yeah, we got very specific about what we wanted, and we wrote out a list. We got very intentional about our partner.
Which we had done separate from each other, which was so cool. We had both spent sort of consciously spent quite a bit of time alone. We had
Mhm.
decided to both be single for a while and sort of just figure out what we actually wanted in a
I
relationship.
I covered an entire sheet of paper. Actually, it was a menu from a restaurant in Venice Beach. I covered top to bottom, left to right, all of the characteristics. I wrote down all of the characteristics I wanted in my partner as if he were here in present
Stop right now,
tense.
you're gonna make me feel like a dish.
A
Any thank you. Thank you.
You're not a snack, honey. You're a
Here
whole meal.
all week. But yeah, so I had separately done the same thing. I had done some work on myself in general, figured out a lot about myself and what I actually really wanted in life. And I had written down a list of the things that mattered to me and that I really wanted out of a relationship, and the things that I felt I actually deserved from a partner, things that I said, you know what, this is non-negotiable. Whoever comes into my life, whoever I let into my life next, these are things that are just required, that I just needed to have. And when I look deeper into that, into what actually makes me happy, what actually makes me feel worthy and loved and protected, and all the things that we desire, admired, supported, when I looked at all those things, and came up with qualities, I realized it's really not that much about if she likes all the same movies that I do, or he likes all the
Right.
same songs that I do,
Right.
or wants to watch sports with me a lot. You know what I mean?
Can
I
you
can
give
do that
me
with my buddies.
Can you give me 3 examples?
Okay, so an important example was humor. Like, that is important, to share humor with each other and to be, what was really important for me, way above everything, above humor and intelligence, which are huge for me, was a killer body. I'm joking. Even though I got that. Woo! No, what was important above all was the idea that it's someone who understands what commitment means, who truly gets what commitment is, and is a commitment person. Because I made the mistake in the past. We all have our childhood wounds and our issues, and I'm not going to go into a therapy lesson here.
Not yet.
But something that I did to myself for many years, and often, except in the successful moments of my life, but in some less successful moments of my life, what I did to myself was letting people in who were very, very non-committal, and I didn't feel like I deserved for someone to commit to myself, because I'd gone through something like that in my childhood. It's people who would eventually just not even have another choice than to let me down, because that's just how they were. It wasn't their fault. It was me creating that. And so I realized commitment matters to me. What I want out of a relationship is the absence of fear, the absence of doubt. I don't want to worry about my partner.
Right.
And in order to have that kind of freedom of love and really feeling safe in a relationship, I need someone who is a committed individual. And that was number one on my list.
Right.
Most important.
Right. Patience was a big thing for me on my list.
Yes.
It seemed like patience. I feel like I even said the word compassion at least 3 times when I was rereading it the other day at Gloria's house. I feel like I heard compassionate.
Well, I mean, the thing is that you're a smart, quick, funny, witty person. A lot of people probably at first sight see a lot of those things about you, with an elegance. And I think it's easy to forget that you just like everybody else, despite your strength that you show.
I'm a sensitive little baby.
You're someone who, and guess what happens every night?
What?
You want to be held. You want to be. Well, that part we don't need to talk about here.
Not yet. Save that for the next episode.
The nights aren't bad. Okay.
Oh God.
No, but you are someone who likes to be protected and to be cared for, and when you need that one place in life where you could just be authentic of what you're going through.
Yeah.
And the things that are not cool and fun, because when you're out there, you're an actor. You're also someone who cares and takes care of a lot of people, which was another thing that was on my list. I wanted someone who was very giving. because I'm very giving. And,
Mm-hmm.
only people that are very giving also understand, they need someone who can receive from them and
Right.
vice versa. And they need someone who also gives back to them.
And personally, this may not be on everyone's list, but I needed someone who understands true freedom
Mm.
and who can be confident
Mm-hmm.
in the relationship while still giving me freedom.
We're going to get there in many conversations in the future.
Mm-hmm.
We have topics prepared for you for upcoming episodes about just that.
Right.
Because the thing is that,
Dog.
that was our dog groaning in her sleep. See, a lot of relationships don't work out because when we're not feeling truly safe around our partner, or when we're just not really feeling safe, period, in ourselves,
Mm-hmm.
then sometimes we're trying to replace that lack of, we're trying to fill that hole
Right.
by controlling something. And then we're trying to control our partner.
Right. We're trying to prevent ourselves from feeling hurt.
Right.
So if I can control you and your behavior, then I won't be hurt.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
It's that simple.
And I think that brings us back to the conversation on preferences. If I just want my partner to sort of be tailor-made to all the things that I like, so they will be exactly how I like, what's really behind that conversation?
Right.
In my view, what's behind that conversation is that's the only way I can feel safe is if they're sort of a mirror image of me.
Mm-hmm. Right.
There's a fear behind that. When I'm coming from freedom in the choice of my partner, then I can say I can admire her and be fascinated about things that I don't even understand that she's into.
Right.
I can be amazed and I can applaud her for going to spaces that I've never gone in her life.
That takes courage.
In her journey. Exactly. And it takes a strength and a stability. But again, when the fundamentals of the relationship are there, when you truly understand, going back to having the list, what your actual needs are, not preferences, but your real deep main needs, the things that you deserve to get.
Period.
When those are clear in a relationship, and we had those very clear with each other from day one, then you can absolutely let your partner
fly,
be free and explore and experience things out there without always thinking, who is she talking to? What is she doing? And vice versa.
Where are they going? Why are you
we both
like
had that on our lists, actually, because I've been married before, and it was actually a successful marriage. It didn't end in divorce. It ended because sometimes horrible things in life happen. And my wife passed away. She had cancer. Yeah. But the thing is that it was a beautiful, long, successful marriage with two beautiful kids. And the thing is that in that marriage, I had the experience of freedom. I had the experience that when she was on a business trip or I was on a business trip, we wouldn't call each other every 5 minutes and check on where we're going and who we're with. Right. It was sort of an unspoken agreement that, I trust you. Go live your life. Right. Be free. Experience for yourself. I don't have to be all over your life.
And I think I needed that because I too have been married previously and I did not experience that level of freedom. I won't say he was controlling, but he was kind of emotionally controlling and emotionally manipulative. I'll say slowly because that's actually not fair. Because hindsight is 20/20. I don't want to say he was manipulative. We were both young, and he was like most men. I need my female partner to be X, Y, and Z so that I can feel comfortable. Yeah. And I didn't know how to handle a person who couldn't control their own emotions. So there was a lot of, there were a ton of rifts in the relationship and unnecessary arguments because I was rebellious and kind of stubborn and also aloof and immature, and so is he.
I mean, look, the challenge generally is when you're very young, how much do you really know about yourself yet? How much do you really know about what you actually need? All the things we're talking here.
Zero.
I got extremely lucky that in my late 20s, I did find, my former wife, I did find a partner that somehow met a lot of my deeper inner needs and vice versa.
Mm-hmm.
It's lucky for us to have
Right.
that. We had our challenges, we had our arguments and our growth in our relationship, but it was overall an almost ridiculously harmonious and beautiful relationship where people are usually looking at us and saying, how come? Like,
Right.
how do you never have any deep conflict? You know, I see a lot of that as luck, actually.
Do you think you found that again?
Absolutely. I feel like 100% that we have that together.
So you're a lucky mofo. Then.
Possibly. I mean, possibly I'm just blessed. No, I mean, you know, heaven is just good to us. Okay?
Right.
As my grandfather always told me, you know, we're Sunday children.
Amen. Amen.
And God is good to us. And hey, I've had my share of tragedy and sadness in life, of course.
Right.
And I've also had, you know, tragedy and sadness in love relationships. But yeah, I'm just saying the difference to today is that this is very conscious. I stepped into the relationship with you from a very conscious place of what I truly needed and wanted in life. I would not say that when I was 28 years old,
right,
that I was that same person.
You just kind of stumbled into
I had that same knowledge, you know?
Right, absolutely.
Today, in my middle age, I do, you know, as a father of pretty grown kids, I very confidently know exactly what I want.
Right, right. And I've said this before. If we had started dating even a year earlier, I would not have been ready for you and ready for this, because I had only recently made that conscious decision that if this is what I want, then this is also who I have to be.
Amen. And you see, this is precisely one of the big reasons why we're doing this podcast, because if you are a younger person, no matter if you're younger or older or the same age, around our both ages, when you're watching this or listening to this, it's never too early or never too late to start asking yourself these questions. And we're going to break them down. There's going to be a lot of detail, because we can talk about this forever, just like we're going to be in relationships forever as long as we're human, as long as humanity exists. But overall, just know that, you know, a lot of things can be avoided and a lot of things can be improved by coming to a better knowledge of you, who you actually are as a relationship person, and what you truly need. Right. Because there is nothing wrong with being clear and unapologetic about, no, this doesn't work for me. Right. These are my non-negotiable things. Like, this is what I want, period. And I deserve it. And it takes time to even figure out what we want. We have to ask ourselves. Exactly. We have to practice clear, conscious communication with ourselves before we can even jump into a relationship, to then practice clear, conscious communication with a partner. Right. But I mean, we're doing this, part of why we're doing this is because we both believe that this can help some people get there. Absolutely. And find that consciousness, because you might find out when you really do that work, that inner work, that it is something completely different than you thought it was. Absolutely. It is possibly not your preferences of sports teams and music types, but or height. Something way different. Oh, height. We could do a whole episode on that. Yeah. It's a preference. Not knocking any preferences, but we just have to ask ourselves, why is this your preference? What does this preference offer your soul? Why do people mention it literally the first off, like out of the gate? I'm always finding that so interesting, because I've also proven that wrong many times. I've dated people that were taller than me. You're about like a half inch taller than me, actually. Maybe like a whole inch, but something like that. But see, I don't have an issue with it. I also come from a world where it wasn't as important in Europe. It's where I come from. It's Germany, Europe in general. I don't see it being such an issue. But I'm pretty shocked when I look around, not because I'm not 6'5", but, you know, 5'8", 5'9" somewhere. Like, to me, it's just funny that so many people, when you ask them, what do you want from a partner, that they'll literally tell you height and other numerals first. Like, they'll literally lead with things like that. Oh, yeah. And I'm saying the same thing you're saying. I'm saying, well, those are preferences. That is not what your innermost desires are. You've just come to believe that it is. Yeah. Well, you know, if we're not leading with our soul, we're leading with our eyes. Yeah.
So while I'm leading with my eyes, I need to see what I deem as beautiful because I haven't gone deep within myself yet.
Yeah, and I'm not saying, because I also heard people talk about Jonah Hill and Lauren London and say, why would someone like Lauren London actually ever be into someone like Jonah Hill and so on, just from a visual perspective, you know? But like visuals, I'm not saying that you should not have
Seek
physical
out
attraction
beauty.
in your relationship.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I've never been in any relationship where there wasn't mutual physical attraction.
All right.
And you absolutely 100% deserve it. But you might still want to open yourself just a little bit to the possibility that it's not exactly something that you can count or calculate in numbers.
That's crazy.
That it might be a little different than you think.
Oh my God. What? That's scary.
It
opens up the dating pool. I've had this conversation for many years. I have never limited myself on the people that I date. And I've had girlfriends and guy friends ask me, well, how could you? Oh my God, he's short. Oh my God, he's so tall. Oh my God, he's not black. Oh my God, he doesn't have a job. Well, actually, I don't know if I... Anyway.
Hey, I mean, tell us.
I don't know.
Tell us.
Oh my God, you're picking him up. He's not driving.
Wow. We share a car, but I have a job. Several.
And we weren't sharing a car when we started dating, though.
That's true.
Tragedy. Oh, R.I.P. Tesla. He was rear-ended on the highway. Look at me justifying why we're sharing a car.
I'm not shouting out Elon Musk. It's just a car.
This is me justifying.
But hey, it kept us safe in a really bad crash, my daughter and me. So
amen.
Thank you, Tesla.
Amen.
But yeah, there are a lot of preferences, a lot of outward values that are put first.
Right.
And again, I'm not saying they're not important. If it really matters to you that you want to get on your tippy toes when you kiss someone, cool. If that's really important to you, then that's beautiful. That's sweet. But should it really be on top of your list? Should really be the first thing you look at.
And look, just like you feel like you've been lucky and blessed in relationships, there are some decent partners who are in your height range. So let's not say this to say like, oh, you'll never find love if you only want to date tall people.
No, 100%.
Someone might also be just as blessed and just as lucky.
Well, it's just, since we talked about an interracial love story movie before, I've had conversations with people that have told me about, racial preferences, so to speak.
Right.
I know guys, I know a couple of guys that say they can only date a woman of a particular
body type and size.
Yeah, body
and
type.
Weight.
And also particular racial background. Some guys who only prefer Asian women or black women or whatever.
Right.
And same thing there. Doesn't mean that obviously in millions of those women, there's quite possibly someone there for you. I mean, definitely someone there for you who also has all the other things that you want.
Absolutely.
So by all means, if that's important to you, there's nothing wrong with that. But for some people, it might also be that just experiencing yourself outside of your comfort zone in dating might actually open yourself up more to, what is it really that matters to me? What am I really looking for? What am I really about? Because I remember, I've been on dates with black women who said to me, who were starting to sort of talk about all their disappointments with black men, and I said, no, we're not gonna do that here. I'm not going to be with you because you're disappointed of black men, because I can actually introduce you to some wonderful black men.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I have great, a lot of really amazing guys that I know that you should meet them, because I don't want to be someone that you're saying, technically I'd rather be with a black man. I just have lost faith in black men.
Oh God, it's so sad.
That's horrible.
It's so sad.
That's horrible, and that's not great for.
That's another limiting belief.
Yeah, and I just feel it's bad for humanity. It has nothing to do with me or how attractive I would have found that person or something. It just didn't feel right to me.
Now I will say,
yes,
on that note, before you and I started dating, I did write off white men.
Whoopsie.
I will say that. Okay.
So you all out there, if you really don't want to date a white man, don't write them off completely or you'll get one?
Well,
Is that what you're
no,
saying?
no, because a distinction must be made.
Yes.
You are not American.
Okay.
German Jewish, like.
Because some people come with the Nazi argument, and I'm like, well, sorry, the Nazis killed a lot of my people, so. But yeah.
Okay, so then we were united as friends again, and then we were
making out in the car.
I am a Christian woman. Anyway.
That brand new Tesla.
The Tesla.
White seats.
Oh, Dragonfly.
Anyway, that's what I called it. What they call it.
Yeah, we were united, and then I was like, wait a minute. Is it white men, or is it just white American men? No offense to any white American men listening to this, but...
And the willingness to be open and to say, okay, you tell me, what is this like for me, for you? What do you think I could do better? I'm stunned at how hard it is for white Americans to do that.
Well, yeah, well, I think it's because of the separation and lack of ownership and responsibility for the sins of the fathers that happened so long ago. I have nothing to do with that. Why can't we just move on?
Yeah, but the thing is, ask them about anything else in history that they're proud of, and they're going to be all up in it.
All up in the history sauce.
I mean, look, all of America gets up again. I'm not American, and I apologize, but for some reason, when everybody mentions slavery, it's like, oh, I have nothing to do with that.
Yeah,
that's long ago.
And also, just after the Civil War, many of the nation's plantations tore down their slave quarters because they just wanted to erase the fact that they even own them. So it started then. Yeah.
I noticed that when I started to travel through the country and visit historic sites, and I was told these are all rebuilt.
Yeah.
That's just really effed up. But, in general, and then people bring up examples of like, well, but, Africa was involved in the slave trade and this and that and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, yeah, but the thing is, this isn't about a guilt conversation or who was first. It's about what has it done to this particular nation.
Right.
And the fact is, and yes, it still has to do with us talking about the movie You People and preferences and relationships and interracial relationships.
Hello.
Because no matter what it is, in this nation, there is a very large number of people that wouldn't be here unless that sin had happened.
Right.
That's a fact. Right. Like, that your grandmother at the fifth level?
My fifth great grandmother was purchased right off of a slave ship in Charleston Harbor around 1782.
The place where it happened.
Taken to Hilton Head Island.
Yeah, her name. You know exactly when it happened.
Old Abby and Cupid, my fifth great grandparents.
Have that story, and for more generations, actually, than generations, for most of their generations, they were owned by other people. They were enslaved.
Right.
And so that is a fact.
That was not that long ago.
And that's a horrible sin that has been committed to Black people. And America has to fully acknowledge that and grieve that and reconcile that, or America will never be a healthy nation.
I think our national anthem should be a Negro spiritual. Precious Lord, take my hand, lead me on, let me stand. Something like that. Because if we're all singing, if we're all singing that, as opposed to, oh, say, can you see the Star Spangled Banner promotes slavery?
Look, all I know, it should be something new. It should generally just, there should be a reflection, a massive reflection of a shift in this country, and it needs to be big. And that's why discussing interracial relationships is always going to be a hot button issue in this country.
It's going to be tough. It's going to be tough because we have people from all sides, and mind you, we are speaking about Black and white, but there are more races. America is a melting pot, and most of us are pretty segregated.
Absolutely. And again, if you're out there and you're in a an interracial relationship as two Americans or considering that, by no means are we discouraging you. We're here for you.
What are we doing? We're not discouraging what?
By no means are we discouraging any interracial relationships out there.
How
You know
could
what I
we
mean?
discourage?
I'm just saying we're here for you. We're here to support you. We're here to, we're rooting for you because we're rooting for love.
I'm rooting for love.
But-
However you get it, no matter what flavor it looks like. It could be yours. It could be another.
I think the whole
Period.
point is, in love in general, you got to be honest. If you want a
Mhm.
relationship to work, you're going to realize relationships can be pretty hard work.
Yeah.
They're also a lot of fun, but they're hard work.
Yeah.
And they will bring out everything in you, the worst, the best, the deepest truth, the ugly, the good, the bad, and the ugly.
Mhm.
That's just what happens. And so in that sense, interracial relationships know fully what you're up to. That doesn't mean it can't happen. Love conquers all.
It brings out the ugly in you, which is why it was very difficult for me to date white Americans.
Of course.
Because this ugliness is coming up and neither of us know how to deal with it in a mature way.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Because we always first go to protecting ourselves, so defending ourselves.
Yeah.
And that doesn't help
Mm-hmm.
in an adult conversation. Yeah. So we feel you. And again, we're rooting for love here.
This was a therapy session.
Beautiful. I'm glad.
This is great. We're here for an hour, so we're going to wrap this up.
Contact us. All the info is going to be on the screen. And if you're just listening to us on the podcast, how can people reach us there? Is there?
You can email us at lovelifehacksshow@gmail.com.
There's a teenager upstairs.
There's a
If you're hearing
teenager
her,
upstairs.
it's okay. It comes with the program. Okay, it's fine.
We're definitely going to discuss step parenting.
Yay!
Yay!
Oh,
No, now I can actually say yay. I can't say yay now.
You're such an amazing stepmom.
I know.
You really are.
I am now.
And the teenager thinks so too.
She does.
Thank God.
I know. Now. No. lovelifehackshow@gmail.com. Love Life Hack Show on Instagram. Love Life Hack Show on Facebook and YouTube.
So contact us. Give us your questions. Give us your comments. Whatever you got.
Yeah.
If you think we messed up somewhere, give us that.
Questions,
here
comments,
for you.
concerns, agree, disagree, love, shade, whatevs. It's Black History Month, so we went there. What are you going to do?
All right.
Amen. Let's just jump in. Oh, God. To another lovely episode of Love Life Hacks with your host, Tracey Love, and my husband,
Chris Silver.
Bye.
Bye-bye.